Yeah. This is your boy, Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm always grateful to be here in the presence of you guys. You know how I give it up here. Always got to start the show with gratitude. So I really do appreciate you guys always locking in. Make sure you, of course, always smash that like button on the way in. Definitely make sure you got it done on the way out. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the content. You know, sometimes, man, it's real easy to get caught up in the YouTube rabbit hole and you just watching your content, right? You're just watching stuff. You're not really paying too much attention, but that like button and that subscription button is so important. So make sure you guys lock into that and understand your power as a consumer. Man, oh man, we haven't had a chance to chat since Friday. I did drop some content for you guys on Saturday to hold you guys over a little bit. I dropped that Gate City Sports interview. Some of you guys probably caught it on the day of. Maybe some of you guys didn't, but man, oh man, did you guys show out for that show? Did you guys show out for that interview, man? A lot of views, a ton of likes, got a ton of subscribers off of it, man. And I'm just grateful that you guys were able to lock in when you guys did on the Saturday afternoon. So I don't take that for granted at all. I had some family fly in this weekend. I had my brother flying in this weekend. So that's why you guys didn't get any content from me on Sunday or even yesterday on Monday, right? Normally we start the week off pretty strong, but I had some family in town, and you know how that goes. Duty calls, you got to entertain, right? So I appreciate you guys for always locking in and even doubling back today, right? Especially when you didn't see me on Monday. And YouTube, I apologize. I hope you don't indict me too much, and I hope you don't take too much of an impact of what we're building here at Chalk It Up Sports. And I'm just grateful for you guys for locking in the way you guys have. So let's make sure we get into the content. We got a lot of things to talk about. It's been a pretty busy weekend for the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, they had the preseason game on Thursday, and then they've been pretty much in training camp action with the pads on, with the shells on. They've been pretty much locked in all weekend, right? We've had a ton of press conferences. We've heard from a bunch of people. We heard from Kellen Moore again. We've heard from Clint Hurt. We heard from Saquon Barkley, Bryce Huff, Isaiah Rodgers, Quinyon Mitchell. We heard from a ton of players, a ton of coaches over the weekend, and we have some good things to bring. We have some good things to talk about with your Philadelphia Eagles, obviously, and we're getting that much closer. We're getting that much closer to the beginning of the regular season, and I got to be honest, I'm nervous in a good way. It's like nervous excitement. You know when Christmas is coming and you just know that, oh man, I know I know I'm gonna get what I asked for this year. I know I'm gonna get it. I know I'm gonna get it. It's just a matter of being patient. And that's kind of where I'm at with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just trying to be patient for the season opener against the Green Bay Packers in Brazil. I'm just on pins and needles about how this 53-man roster is going to look. I can't shake that excitement, you guys. And I know you're feeling the same way. Let's get some shout outs out the way real quick, right? Got to give a shout out to Trenton Wright for being in the building. JK12345, Madness, All Eagles Fly, S Blunt, Jonathan Cook, Bold Brew, Jamal Harris. Really do appreciate you guys for being here. It means a lot to me. And we spoke about this last week, right? Not only do we have things to talk about, or not only do we have things to bring up, but you and I, we have a ton of things to discuss. So that's why today is going to be a call-in show. Yes, I know a lot of you guys are probably used to me being live earlier in the day, but we're live now. And tonight, this evening, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're busy or whatever it may be, but this is going to be a call-in show. So we're going to take in a handful of callers, right? I won't be able to get to everybody, but we're going to take in a handful of callers to fill out the show. And I want to get y'all spiel about the current state of your Philadelphia Eagles, right? You know, you guys hear me pontificate. You guys hear me talk and go crazy day in and day out when it comes to your Philadelphia Eagles. But I can't wait to hear from you guys. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. Before we do so, I do want to address some housekeeping, right? I do want to address Philadelphia Eagles injury report as it stands today. I want to talk about some things, maybe some observations from training camp today as well. What else? We have some things that we want to just lay the land for before we get to the call in. So make sure you guys lock in. I also want to wait until we get some more people in the live stream. That way, we'll be able to get a really large sample size of people locking in on the content. So, today is going to be a call-in show, and then when I drop that link, the floor is yours. So don't be shy, don't be nervous, don't be skittish. All right. I want everybody to keep that same energy, no matter who you are, where you're from. I don't care. I want to hear everybody's talk. They talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, be it in a positive light or a negative light. Don't really matter to me. I know where I stand with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't need to be convinced one way or another. So can't wait to really kick it with you guys. So let's set the table for a little bit. Let's set the table over the next 15 to 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to start our call-in show. All right. So bear with me, you guys. All right. Now, like I mentioned, I want to address some injury updates before we get too far. So as of today, as far as practice goes, Matt Hennessy, guard, did not practice due to a back injury. Albert O, the tight end, did not practice today because of an abdomen injury. John Ross and Johnny Wilson still are out due to concussions, so they haven't practiced today or over the course of the weekend. And then you have Tyler Steen out with or did not practice today due to the ankle he's been nursing. And then you have the new safety they signed in Caden Stearns. He's out with a knee injury, but we pretty much already knew that. And then guys who did return to practice, Gabe Hall, defensive tackle, was out with a hamstring. EJ Jenkins, the tight end that we all know and love, he was out with a knee injury. Joseph Ngata, wide receiver, who's starting to get his confidence back up, was out with an ankle injury. Moro Ujomo, D tackle, the D tackle who's been really taking tremendous strides throughout training camp entering year 2. He was out, or he returned today with a hip injury. So Gabe Hall, EJ Jenkins, Joseph Ngata, Moro Ujomo, they returned today off their respective injuries. And then Mekhi Becton, the guard or the tackle turned guard, he returned today as well from sustaining an undisclosed injury. I'm not sure what it was or what it is, but they didn't necessarily disclose it to us. But regardless, he's back. And then today, Trevor Keegan did leave practice early with the trainer. Still unsure what it is. But the fact that he was able to walk off under his own strength, just walked off with the trainer, he should be fine in the long term. Saquon Barkley gave us a little bit of a scare, right? He had a hard time getting up, but he was ultimately stretched out by a trainer. Pause. He was worked out by a trainer, and he didn't do any more team drills. And I just take that as the Philadelphia Eagles being precautionary. I mean, Saquon Barkley is your golden goose here. Saquon Barkley is going to be fine, by the way. He's your golden goose. You invested a lot of money in Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is making about 12 to $14 million a season right now from the Philadelphia Eagles. He's making big money, and he is a huge part of what you're trying to accomplish on offense, right? His role, his contributions are going to be, quite frankly, vital to the overall success of this offense, because you've built your offense, you've built everything around your new additions, your current personnel, right? But Saquon Barkley, from what it looked like to me, maybe some cramps or maybe a little tightness, whatever it may be. I think Saquon Barkley is going to be fine. So I wouldn't stress about that too much, you guys. And then again, Keegan, like I said, I wouldn't stress about that too much either. He left practice with a trainer, walked off under his own strength. I think both of those guys are ultimately going to be okay. So I wouldn't stress about that, you guys. And then on top of that, when it comes to other players that they're being precautionary about, they've decreased the snaps of guys like Lane Johnson and Mekhi Becton as well. They want to keep those guys as fresh as possible. They want to keep those guys as ready as possible, right? The last thing you need is losing Lane Johnson in some freak training camp accident, or even just losing anybody on that right side, for the matter, right? I do like some of the players we have depth-wise, but no one is Lane Johnson on this roster. No one is Mailata or Landon Dickerson. Dickerson has battled his own share of tweaks and injuries here and there through our training camp. So you just want to be mindful. You want to be very careful about how you put these guys out there, what kind of harm you're putting them in. And then it makes you, and then on top of that, I think it makes me really think about this, right? I think the reason we haven't seen this first team offense is not Jalen Hurts related. It's not AJ Brown related. It's not Devontae Smith related. I don't even think it's Saquon Barkley related, right? Of course, they're involved because they're a part of the first team offense, but I don't think the decision to not play the first team was solely based off of protecting the quarterback. I really think that the reason they didn't start their first team at any point throughout training camp is because they've been dealing with too many nicks and bruises from their offensive line throughout the course of training camp. And if you can't get even one of your starting offensive linemen out there, there's no reason for you to put Jalen Hurts out there, right? You're not going to put Jalen Hurts behind your second or third team offensive line. This is not what you're going to do. It's not safe, and it's quite frankly idiotic. So I think the reason we haven't seen these first team reps that we'd like to see in preseason games. I think we haven't seen them because there's been too many nicks and too many bruises sustained between your offensive linemen, from Landon Dickerson all the way down to Lane Johnson. You want to be careful with that. And if me personally, again, if I can't start my offensive line the way I want, I'm not putting my quarterback out there. That's just how I look at it. So that could be the reason why. I don't think it's necessarily, oh, we don't want to put Jalen out there. I think it's the offensive line is not fully healthy, or we don't want to we don't want to run the risk of making whatever nicks and bruises they're dealing with. We don't want to run the risk of making those worse. So therefore, I'm not going to put my starting quarterback out there behind a second and third string offensive line. And I think that's just smart. So I can't really get mad at that. Moving on from the injury front, I do want to address some training camp observations, right? Some things I've read, some things I've heard, some things I've seen. What I've noticed today, at the very least, apparently Devin White and Zach Bond, once again, Devin White and Zach Bond, they started. And this is depth chart related, you guys. So we're going to get into other stuff as well. But as far as the depth chart rotation goes, Devin White and Zach Bond, they got the start today at linebacker with Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. being mixed in. Again, we're coming close to that point where decisions have to be made, right? This is the last chance for a lot of players this week in particular. This is the last chance for a lot of players to show that they belong on this roster, to show that they belong in the NFL, to show that they are even capable of starting reps, right? We've talked about Nakobe Dean being in a situation where he is trying to prove that he should be the starter on this team next to Devin White. He's trying to prove that he deserves more reps than what he's already gotten. And so far, he's had a pretty strong second half of training camp, right? He's been pretty solid ever since that open practice. He's had solid preseason outings as well. Didn't necessarily jump off of the page, but we've all been made a bit more optimistic in Nakobe Dean's future with the Philadelphia Eagles. I know me, prior to training camp, prior to all of this really occurring, I've been pretty bullish on where I stand with Nakobe Dean, right? I've been very respectful. I've been very conscious of the work he has put in. I've been very conscious of the fact that you can't necessarily legislate injuries. There's only so much you can do, right? But I've been honest, and I've simply just told it how I see it and how I feel about it. And I've gone off of what we've known. I've gone off of what we've seen. I've gone off the facts when it comes to Nakobe Dean. And the fact of the matter is, today he is starting to turn the page, it seems, right? That's what it appears. It appears that Nakobe Dean is starting to see the light. But he still has to compete with Zach Bond. Still has to compete with Devin White. Still has to compete with Jeremiah Trotter Jr., someone who, again, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., a guy who's had a strong training camp, had a little bit of a setback in that Patriots game. Wasn't his best game at all. He kind of looked more like a rookie there. Nakobe Dean has kind of been keeping the trend positive for himself. But again, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., a young player, still has a lot to learn. I think he's going to get better as the season goes. Same thing with Nakobe Dean if he can stay healthy. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles, once again, we talked about this. They've made their mind up. They know who their starting linebackers are going to be. It's going to be Zach Bond and it's going to be Devin White. And it's up to Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. to prove that the decision should be made otherwise. That's pretty much what it's up to. Also, Oren Burks, the linebacker we signed, formerly played for the San Francisco 49ers last season as a rotational linebacker and on their special teams. Oren Burks is finally back. He pretty much missed all of training camp with a knee injury that he sustained on the first day of training camp. He finally returned and he got second team linebacker reps. So we'll see what that does to the linebacker competition. I think it's a little bit too late for Oren Burks to even make an impact in that regard. But can he make this roster being a special teamer? It's possible. We'll see. And then moving on to the DB room, Darius Slay and Quinyon Mitchell started with the first team on the outside. Both players were on the outside as CB1 and CB2. And then Quinyon Mitchell would eventually move to the slot when they decided to mix in Isaiah Rodgers coming in on the outside, right? And then Keely Ringo, he got some first team reps later in practice as well on the outside. But you can tell that because of the return of Cooper DeJean, they're starting to get back to getting Quinyon Mitchell in that outside role to get that confidence up. And what you're seeing here is you're seeing Darius Slay and Quinyon Mitchell on the outside in base formation. And then whenever they go into a nickel set, you're seeing Quinyon Mitchell move into the slot. And then you're seeing Isaiah Rodgers and Darius Slay on the outside in set nickel formation. Now, because of the depth they have at that DB position now, because of how young and talented they are and athletic, is there a scenario where you can get Cooper DeJean on the field at the same time as a Quinyon Mitchell or an Isaiah Rodgers, right? Is there a situation where you can get Keely Ringo on the field at the same time as those guys, or even a James Bradberry who's competing for a safety spot right now? But is there a way to get the best possible combination of talent and skill position guys on the field, especially with their coverage ability? In big nickel situations, that's what I anticipate Cooper DeJean coming in on, right? Those when you bring in that extra safety, you take off that linebacker off the field, right? You got three safeties on the field, one linebacker, and then you have three corners. I believe it's three corners, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you have three corners. So that could be a situation where you bring in Cooper DeJean playing as that extra DB, right? Or even in dime looks, right? That could be a way to get Cooper DeJean and Keely Ringo on the field. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the situation we're kind of looking at here. It remains to be seen though. But it's good to see Quinyon Mitchell being worked out being worked out again on the outside. I think that's the ultimate long-term plan. I think there's a strong chance we see Quinyon Mitchell be on the outside as we get deeper into the season, especially if he begins to outplay Isaiah Rodgers, right? I think that's something that's going to have to come up as well. And then you'll see maybe Cooper DeJean slide up to that starting slot spot. But then Avonte Maddox is giving guys a hard way to go, right? See, it's going to be hard to get these OGs at the building. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to take a guy like Avonte Maddox's spot because Avonte Maddox is playing hard. He's coming off of a strong preseason game where he caught a huge interception in the red zone. In the end zone, and then took it about 47 yards. So guys like Cooper DeJean, all these young guys, although James Bradberry and Avonte Maddox, they're the OGs in the building, and obviously they're not in the highest standing with the organization. Regardless, you got to get those, you got to work those guys. You feel what I'm saying? If you're Cooper DeJean, if you're Quinyon Mitchell, or if you're a Reed Blankenship, you feel what I'm saying? If you're an Isaiah Rodgers, a Keely Ringo, you still have to keep the pressure on guys like Avonte Maddox and James Bradberry. You still got to keep the pressure on them. They're still in the building. It's as simple as that. Now we're going to get into what the potential future of James Bradberry would be, right? We're going to talk about that when you guys come on and speak your truth. But James Bradberry is still in the building. Avonte Maddox is still in the building. Reed Blankenship should be on high alert because Avonte Maddox and James Bradberry are coming for somebody's spot, be it in the safety or in the nickel. They're trying. I'm just saying, they're still in the building. You have to respect the game. You got to respect competition. You got to respect the fact that there are guys here who are fighting for their football futures here. So therefore, nothing's going to be given. Everything's going to be earned. Just how Cooper DeJean is going to have to earn it. Quinyon Mitchell is going to have to earn it. Isaiah Rodgers, Keely Ringo, these guys are going to have to earn it here. All right. But just based off of what I've been seeing here, seems like the Philadelphia Eagles are dead set on having Darius Slay and Isaiah Rodgers start on the outside. I think that's what they want right now. Do I agree with that? Look, I feel like Kelee Ringo's had a better camp. I feel like Kelee Ringo's had a better preseason outings. That's just my opinion. But they feel really comfortable with Isaiah Rodgers being their starting cornerback too. The rumor is, the word is, and also just based off their actions, Isaiah Rodgers is going to win the cornerback 2 spot. But regardless, the long-term vision, I believe the long-term vision is Quinyon Mitchell, Kelee Ringo on the outside, Cooper DeJean in the slot. Also, he's a hybrid guy, so he'll be moving around a lot. And then at safety, you have CJ Gardner-Johnson and either Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship, because I think the Philadelphia Eagles are really high on Sidney Brown. I believe they love his athletic profile. They love just how physical he is back there, how athletic he is, how fast he is. I think they want Sidney Brown back there. That's their ultimate vision here. You want to get the guys you drafted on the field. You want to make sure you can take advantage of the flexibility of those rookie contracts. I wouldn't be surprised if the Philadelphia Eagles wanted their long-term vision to be Quinyon Mitchell, Kelee Ringo, Cooper DeJean in the slot, and you got CJ GJ and Sidney Brown playing safety. I think that's their ultimate long-term vision here when it comes to that. And then Cooper DeJean, he was able to get some reps today with the second team at nickel and on the outside. So Cooper DeJean got a lot of work today. Cooper DeJean is back working with the team. So that's good to hear. And then we have on the offensive side, Paris Campbell and Brenton Covey. Paris Campbell is back. Paris Campbell and Covey are currently splitting the wide receiver 3 reps. Brenton Covey has been the healthiest person, has been the most reliable contributor at that wide receiver 3 position. Paris Campbell, he's coming back. At first we thought Paris Campbell pretty much it was his position to lose. Obviously, going through that injury gave a clear runaway for guys like Johnny Wilson and Brenton Covey and John Ross to try to elevate their values. Brenton Covey definitely took advantage of the opportunity. John Ross, not so much. Johnny Wilson, I like the prospect. I like the size. I love his blocking ability. He's still a work in progress as a receiver that you can trust. He still has concentration drops that I'm not really a big fan of. But regardless, the most reliable person from that build, from that side of things, from that wide receiver 3 competition has been Brenton Covey. He's been the healthiest. He's, as of right now, he's your most versatile because you can use him in punt return. He can play in the slot. And honestly, out of all your wide receiver 3 options, when it comes to the guys that I mentioned, out of all your wide receiver 3 options, Brenton Covey generates the most separation. Now, that may not be saying a lot, but Brenton Covey, say what you want about him, and I'm high on Brenton Covey right now. I'm high on Brenton Covey. I believe Brenton Covey is truly entering this phase where he's really confident in his ability. He knows he can make a contribution as a wide receiver in this league. I watched this press conference today. I think it was from yesterday or earlier today. I can't remember, but I watched his press conference, and the level of confidence he speaks with it permeates through the screen. You can see how enthusiastic he is about getting better. You can see how enthusiastic he is about the people he plays with. You can see how enthusiastic he is about his opportunity here. And he truly believes he has a legit opportunity to get legit wide receiver 3 reps throughout the season. And I think he should be enthusiastic because I think out of the group, he's been the most reliable. And quite frankly, he's put up the best tape. He's giving you the most to look at. That's just my opinion. Now, again, it depends on what you're looking at, right? If you're looking at the blocking ability, it's Johnny Wilson all day. But if you're looking at just ability to generate separation, just catching everything that comes your way, just always being where you're supposed to be, just being reliable, being somebody you can count on, Brenton Covey has been that player. Now, have we seen players who have popped here and there? Joseph Ngata, he had a moment. Joseph Ngata had a moment in that Patriots game where he played very well, caught all 5 of his targets, I believe, all 5 or 6 of his targets. Went for like 80+ yards, right? He was reliable. But I don't know how the Philadelphia Eagles feel about Joseph Ngata as their wide receiver 3 or even long term. Obviously, they like him. He's been on their practice squad, I think, the past couple years or something like that, past few years. And he's working with some of the best receivers he can work with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, has Aaron Moorhead as a receiver coach, right? He has a ton of talent and tutelage around him. So it's going to be really important to see if he can continue to grow as a receiver. But I think Britton Covey, as of right now, he's leading that conversation for the wide receiver 3 spot. He prides himself on his ability to get separation. He talks about that. You can see that he does get separation. You know, he ran a 4.4 at his pro day. He wasn't invited to the combine, but he ran a 4.4 at his pro day. So he has speed. We've seen him in punt return. He knows how to make that one cut and make somebody miss. Right? His ball security is tremendous. He doesn't drop anything. He doesn't fumble anything. So that's something that me personally, I can hang my hat on. That's something that I don't mind having that wide receiver 3. Somebody that I know for a fact they're going to be exactly where they're supposed to be. They're going to run the route exactly the way it's supposed to get ran. They're going to get separation. They're going to catch the ball. They're going to secure the ball. They're going to protect the ball. You dig what I'm saying? So he's just a small guy. But I don't know. I think that's the kind of guy you want in your lineup, the kind of guy that people overlook, and he just keeps gashing them and gashing them and gashing them. I think Britton Covey deserves a legit spot at the wide receiver 3 spot. I believe he deserves an opportunity. But I'd also, in saying all that positive stuff I said about Britton Covey, I don't put it past the Philadelphia Eagles to go out and outsource for the position. I really, really don't. I don't put it past the Philadelphia Eagles to say, you know what, we need more here. We like you, Britton, but we need more pop. And, you know, will I be mad at them for doing so? No. You know, it'd be unfortunate for Britton Covey, a guy who feels like he's earning the opportunity. He deserves at least a shot, right? Like, I think we deserve to at least see what it looks like to have Britton Covey out there, right? I feel like we need to at least see what it looks like. See what it looks like with him playing in between AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. What does it look like? What kind of production can he generate? You know, give him a shot. We giving all the young guys a shot. Give him a shot. That's my humble opinion, though. But like I said, this is the last chance for a lot of people to prove that they deserve some kind of opportunity here. This is the last chance you. And you know, I definitely want to, again, this is a call-in show. If you guys are just hopping in, right, we're going to do a call-in show. A lot of you guys are going to have an opportunity to have an opportunity to speak your piece about the Philadelphia Eagles, be it positive or negative. Regardless, you guys are going to have the opportunity. I just want to get through some of my notes here, get through some of the things I've read, some of the things I've heard about, and then we'll be able to get you guys on. I just want to set the table and give you guys a perfect landing space for when you guys come on and share your truth here. So yeah, excuse me. Training camp today, practice wasn't that long. Went for about an hour and a half, hour and 45, if I'm not mistaken. One of the biggest plays of the day. We saw Jalen Hurts able to connect with AJ Brown for a 45-yard deep ball on the left sideline, where he was able to actually get a good step on the rookie Quinyon Mitchell, and Jalen Hurts delivered the perfect ball. AJ Brown didn't have to do too much; all he had to do was secure it. And you know, we're never going to not see the Jalen Hurts AJ Brown connection working, right? That's just something that's always going to be there. Those guys are connected, and there's a true chemistry there, right? So we know that's going to work. You know, I've been hearing a lot of people say, yeah, you know, we didn't see the Philadelphia Eagles, you know, do too much pushing the ball down the field. We didn't see too much of that in training camp. You know, like, what is that about, right? And for me, these past 2 seasons, we criticized the Philadelphia Eagles for always relying on trying to take the top ball, relying on the deep ball, trying to push it down the field, right? We didn't necessarily like the fact that they weren't really being surgical, working their way down the field. We talked about how they relied so much on the explosive play. But now we see them in training camp trying to be more surgical, trying to incorporate more of the, you know, intermediate game, and, you know, relying on the 5 or 6 yard pass that could potentially turn into a 15-yard pass if you're a receiver or your running back makes a play, right? We've criticized this team about relying too much on the explosive play, not being patient enough with the offense. And then we hear people complain and criticize or have some sort of opinion about, oh yeah, I didn't see the Philadelphia Eagles push the ball that much, push the ball down the field too much throughout training camp. Jalen's been okay. He's been good, but it hasn't been great. I'm asking myself, what do you really want at the end of the day? What are you really looking for? Because for the past 2 seasons, they've shown you without a doubt that they can push the ball down the field on anybody, on any defense, against any defender. Now they're trying to take this offense to another level. They're trying to um, expand it with a little bit more precision, right? Incorporate more of the intermediate, the short game that can set up the explosive play, right? We get on Jalen Hurts all the time about not seeing the middle of the field and not taking advantage of what's there, right? And now when he's actually doing that and he's not overthinking the offense, he's getting the ball out of his hands quick. And now you hear people having their own weird angles about it all. So it's just funny to me. It's ironic to me. You can't please everybody. You never will be able to please everybody. That's why I'm so excited to see this team really take off this year, because I think we're going to see this new and improved version of Jalen Hurts, this much more surgical, this much more precise version of Jalen Hurts, a quarterback that's going to get the ball out of his hands as quickly as possible, put the ball in his playmaker's hands, and live with the results. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. You can't please everybody, but again, you always like to see what you see from AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, and even Devontae Smith, right? And again, Jalen Hurts still not turning the ball over. He's going 15 full practices straight this summer without throwing an interception. So you got to give credit where credit is due. Obviously, practice is practice, and you want that same precision, you want that same accuracy and touch with the football to translate to the regular season, and I think it will. But I just don't like when people try to say, "Oh, he's not throwing enough interceptions." I'm a little nervous about that. I'm skeptical about that. It's a little alarming. It's not enough. Is he not taking any risk? Is he not taking any chances? Are they not trying anything new? The problem is that they were pushing the ball down the field all the time. They were explosive play all the time. And you guys criticized that, saying that they were a one-trick pony. They rely on AJ Brown too much, or they rely on Devontae. Like you guys were just like, people were complaining about that. Not you guys, but you know what I mean. People were bitching about that. And now you see a guy who's actually taking what the defense is giving him, being more precise and surgical. Why are we tripping? Anyway, CJ Gardner-Johnson. He was very physical today. He popped Grant Calcaterra, something fierce, in the middle of the field, and then danced his way back to his position. So CJ Gardner-Johnson, man, he's a physical player. You know why they brought him here. He plays with an edge. He's going to lay the wood down on anybody. He doesn't care what anybody says. He wants guys to be ready and willing when things hit the fan. He want to know, is you with me or what? And I dig that. I dig the mentality that CJGJ is bringing, and I love it. I love that he's bringing that edge. I love that he's bringing that fire back. I love that he's making guys uncomfortable, making them angry. I like that, because nobody should be comfortable. Nobody should be happy about what's going on right now. Everybody should be looking forward to what's to come. Everybody should be excited and enthused to hit people and take heads off and win football games and dominate. And I like the mentality that CJGJ is bringing. It's only going to permeate through the rest of the roster. And then they had a lot of one-on-ones today, right? Lane Johnson, he dominated Nolan Smith. And then on top of that, Mekhi Becton, he got some work in again with Jalen Carter. And he's done pretty well dealing with Jalen Carter, believe it or not. And then on top of that, Cam Jurgens, one-on-ones, again, not really his strong suit because of how small he is. He's quick. You love seeing Cam Jurgens in the 11-on-11s, right? Because you get to see him work the next two guys like Landon Dickerson and Mekhi Becton, right? And how they benefit him. But, when in those one-on-ones, he's going up against Jordan Davis every day, going up against Jalen Carter. And he's doing the best he can, slowing them down, right? And that's all you can ask for. But his skill set is more so the athletic portion of it, being able to hit the second and third levels, right? That's what you want from Cam Jurgens, the athleticism. And then Trevor Keegan had a pretty strong rep against Milton Williams today. Jordan Mailata, he had an okay day against Bryce Huff, but Bryce Huff Bryce Huff pretty much took advantage of him. Mailata was a little too high, and Bryce Huff took advantage of that. On top of that, you saw guys on the defensive line really get it in. You saw Moro Jomo, Julian Okora, Gabe Hall, Terrell Lewis, Thomas Booker the fourth. You know, a lot of those DTs, right? Those edge rushers. You saw a lot of those guys take advantage of, you know, Dylan McMahon and other young guys as well. Dylan McMahon did get a big stop on PJ Mustapher, though, the D tackle that they signed. So guys had an opportunity, right? But overall, man, you're seeing a lot of competition with the one-on-ones. And then you had the wide receivers face off against the DBs and the running backs face off against the linebackers. So, yeah, man, you had one-on-ones going on today. And then moving on from the one-on-ones, there was a moment where Jalen Carter, he had a run stuff at or near or maybe behind the line of scrimmage on Saquon Barkley. Now, obviously, you can't really tell what guys, you know, they're not really tackling quite, they're not literally tackling. So you have to be careful about how you judge things. But Jalen Carter, he's been getting in the backfield, be it in the pass rush, be it in the run defense. He's been cutting through. So he definitely should have a lot of tackles for loss this season. And also, Patrick Johnson was able to beat CJ Uzoma for a sack. Jalix Hunt was working against the second team offensive line. He was able to get a sack today. Brandon Graham had a sack too. Jordan Davis was able to get pressure and force Jalen Hurts to get out of the pocket. But overall, the defensive line had a strong day. There was a ton of pressure on the quarterbacks ultimately. And the offensive line did not have their strongest day. And then moving on from that, you had Devontae Smith. He had some moments as well. He had a deep ball from Jalen Hurts against Keely Ringo, took advantage of that. Keely Ringo was also flagged for a defensive pass interference against Devontae Smith, and Smith ultimately fought through the contact to catch a 35-yard catch in the end zone, the 35-yard pass in the end zone. And Devontae Smith also had a pretty solid play against Quinyon Mitchell. Smith was able to get Quinyon Mitchell leaning one direction, and he broke free across the middle for a big gain. So again, Quinyon Mitchell's getting a lot of good work with these OGs, right? Getting a lot of good work with guys like Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. Keely Ringo is getting great work working with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Isaiah Rodgers, same thing. And look, when you're a DB, you're not going to win every rep. That's just not how it works. So it's good to see that Quinyon Mitchell, Keely Ringo, they're sticking to it. They have a short-term memory when it comes to all this stuff, right? And then, you know, Anaya Smith, somebody that we haven't been high on lately. He had an all right day. You know, he had a tough start to his training camp, and he did have that moment where he caught the 2-point conversion in the end zone in the second preseason game, which really can boost your confidence. But he's starting to catch his stride, right? He had a moment where he caught a pass today, and it was immediately popped up by Cooper DeJean. But then he held on to it. He held on to it. He held on to it. And then Will Shipley, he had a solid day as well, running behind the second team offensive line. So overall, you know, business as usual for your Philadelphia Eagles. Nothing to get too high on, nothing to get too low on. But again, you had guys walk away today. Trevor Keegan and Saquon Barkley had a little bit of had little tweaks here and there, but they're ultimately going to be okay. Gabe Hall, DT, EJ Jenkins, tight end, Joseph Nagata, wide receiver, Moro Dromo, DT, and Mekhi Becton, guard, all returned today. And Matt Hennessy, Albert O, John Ross, Tyler Steen, Caden Stearns, the new safety we got, and Johnny Wilson did not practice, all for various reasons. John Ross and Johnny Wilson due to concussion. Matt Hennessy due to a back injury. Albert O due to his abdomen. Tyler Steen due to the ankle, and Caden Stearns due to the knee. All right. Now that we're here, I want to get to the call-in. We've talked about this. We've talked it up. We've been excited about this. And I can't wait. I can't wait to kick it with y'all. So let me drop the call-in link now. All right. The link has been dropped. It has also been pinned to the top of the live stream. Okay. The link has been dropped, okay? So if you guys want to call in, if you guys want to speak your piece about your Philadelphia Eagles, here's your opportunity. And I'm giving everybody a chance, right? We've been live for about 41 minutes. We have over 70 people on the live stream via YouTube and Twitch. Thank you guys so much for locking in on the content, and what you guys have goes a long way with me. I cannot take the support for granted. Make sure you guys continue to smash that like button. Goes a long way. We got over 70 people in here, only 40 likes. Something's not adding up, you guys. It's not adding up. So make sure you guys smash that like button when you get the opportunity. It means a lot to me. And make sure you guys stay locked in on the content. Of course, that means a lot to me. And it goes a long way with the overall success of this channel. So again, only 40 likes and over 70 people watching. The math not mathing, y'all. Exercise your power as the consumer. Make sure you lock in, all right? Now, let's get to some of my call-in guests for the evening. You guys asked, and most definitely, I wanted to make sure that I delivered. So let's get right to the shenanigans. First and foremost, my man, Big J. Jay in the building. We good. How we doing?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. How about you, bro?
I can't complain not one bit. I'm glad you're talking football. So let's get right to guy. You know, I got some questions for you. And also I want you to give your unadulterated, your unfiltered opinion, okay? So let's start here. Who's been your biggest standout throughout training camp and the preseason so far?
Defensively, I really think Keely Ringo's been really great. Like, he's been playing pretty good. I think the only problem with him is, like, the reason why they're not going to start him is because he's handsy. They've been saying a lot about him being handsy, and they're worried. Because remember how he did in Dallas? Got that face mask call last year. So I'm thinking they're probably thinking, you know, trying to work him out to make sure he's not committing penalties. Okay. They could really mess us up. But I really think he's been great. Really wanted to see him start. But, you know, when I talked to you guys last time, I wanted Slay not to be here, or at least a rotational piece. So,
right.
Because I want the young guys out there, man. They got speed, man. They ready to go. They've been playing good, man. Then they can probably try to work in Cooper DeJean, like you were talking, in a big nickel, maybe dime packages. So hopefully, you know, he's still got some time to get it together. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see how it goes as far as, you know, the season.
Okay, I like that. Any standout on the offensive side for you?
On the offensive side, I mean, we really ain't played nobody other than like a bunch of third stringers, so I really can't make any statements other than Britton Covey, like we've been talking about, and Joseph Nagata, like they've been looking pretty dang good. You know, but
let me put you like this then. Is there anybody on the offensive side, obviously not the starters, because the starters is pretty much solidified. Is there anybody outside of the starters that you would like to see more from? That you feel like maybe didn't get enough time, but you want to see what they can do?
Probably, like, I would say probably somewhat, but I want to see Britton Covey get more work. Honestly, like you were talking about, I really want to see him get more work. He's good at moving, you know, since the fact that he's been doing punt returns. Because remember, we called him Crash Test Covey for how long?
That's right. For
so,
a while.
like, yeah, so like literally, like, I'd like to see him continue to do good in the slot, man, because he might be the next Beasley, you know what I'm saying, in this offense type of deal. So you never know. We don't know until they suit up for week one, you know. So I'm really hoping that maybe he can make some strides, because it'd be a lot cheaper on us. We don't have to go out and spend any money. Thanks. If we're able to get him, and because we've already spent enough. Like, we literally have spent enough. But, you know, I'm not going to be mad if they bring in Mechie or someone else for the slot to try out to give some competition. I'm all about competition. Without competition, nobody's getting better. So
I feel you on that. And, you know, Britton Covey, man, the way he talks, man, you can tell he's reached a new level of confidence. He's really excited to prove that he deserves an opportunity. And look, let's be honest, man. You put Britton Covey between AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, you know the defense gonna sleep on him. And that's gonna be the moment the moment you catch him. That's the moment you get him going. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Let me ask you some more though. Who's been your biggest disappointment throughout training camp and preseason? Who's let you down right now?
I really want to say Bryce Huff a little bit, and Josh Sweat. I got two of them, both of them, because they ain't really done too much, and we need those ends to be working. Because I see that's why Vic Fangio has been sending blitzes, different people coming, because he feel like he's probably not getting enough pressure from the edge, and that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, we got to get this right. So I'm hoping the edge will do better.
No, I feel you on that. The good thing about the Bryce Huff angle is he did turn a corner a little bit. He had a strong joint practice with the Patriots, and then he had a strong first. He played 10 snaps in that
Yeah.
game on Thursday. Did pretty well in running defense. He was all right. He was solid. You know, he had an open field tackle. He cut through tackling Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
He was okay. He was all right.
Yeah, but my only thing with that situation is how many times a year did he play him while he was with the Jets? He's comfortable playing that team.
It's fair.
So like he probably, I mean, granted they got new coaches, but a lot of the players on the offensive line is not different. He's used to playing these guys. Like, so I mean, I didn't see him do nothing against the Ravens.
No, so you bring up a good point because I didn't think about that part of it, right? The fact that he was from that division, he used to play those guys. That's a very good point by you. I did not think about that not one bit.
Yeah, man, that was my first aspect. I'm like, yo, they saying all hyping him up. I'm like, yo, he played them twice a year, like for the last 4 years. Like he knows that that whole team, he's played them. So, and I don't think they got much difference on the offensive line point. You know what I'm saying? Since they had the change of coaches. So, I mean, we'll see what Mayo does with them. But at the end of the day, like I really think that's probably why he did really well. But let's hope not. I'm hoping not. I'm gonna keep hoping not. But you know, we'll see how it goes with him.
I feel you now. A couple more, Jay, and I'm gonna get you out of here, my man. Once again, I appreciate you always locking in on the content. I even appreciate you for reminding me about that call-in last week. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad I'm here kicking it with you, my friend. So let's get to
definitely
get to a couple more questions. All right, so I gotta ask you this one, right? You know, the rumor is that the Philadelphia Eagles, and also you can kind of tell based off their actions, they've already decided that their cornerback 2 is going to be Isaiah Rodgers, right? And we briefly touched on it earlier. Do you think it's the right decision or the safe decision? And if not, do you believe Kelee Ringo is the better long-term answer?
Obviously he will be, because I don't think they're going to be able to pay Isaiah Rodgers when it comes around next year, because I do believe his contract's up after this year. So, I really feel like, you know, it probably is a safe move that they're playing right now, just because he's handsy. So what I'm hoping is that they completely, you know, figure out that he's really not that bad and they can put him out there, because I'd rather take Quinyon Mitchell and have, you know, Ringo on the outside than try to like put in Isaiah Rodgers in the slot, since he's more shiftier.
Okay.
But I do want Ringo in the slot, and I really didn't want Quinyon Mitchell in the slot. I mean, because that's just kind of a confusing thing when you're going from outside to inside. So it's just like not really a fan of it, but you know, it is what it is. I'd rather him been on the outside. I'd rather had left Slade for, like, you know, like I said, either gone or probably a rotational piece.
Right.
And it's nothing against him. I like Slade. He did great for those several years he's been with us.
You want to get younger. I get it.
Yeah. So, you know, and getting those guys, those quality reps. And like I said last time when we talked, you know what I'm saying, you wasted a first-round pick for Quinyon. Like,
I feel you.
You got to put him out there. What do you think Patrick Surtain did when he was with Denver? They put him right out there. What do you think a lot of these other Diggs, what do they think they did with him? They put him right out there. None of these people that were first-round picks that were corners sat on the bench. And it's always a Philadelphia Eagles type of deal. Like, they want to put their first-round picks on the bench or don't want to make them rotational pieces. No, the people need to get playing time.
I hear you. Now, what I will say is, in their defense today, they started off practice with Quinyon Mitchell and Slay on the outside. And then when they went to the nickel set, they moved them inside, and then they brought Isaiah Rodgers in. Because maybe that could be the situation, right? Maybe in their base formation, Quinyon Mitchell and Darius Slay's on the outside, and then when they get into that nickel, they bring Isaiah Rodgers on the field, and Isaiah plays outside, and then Quinyon is going to be your three down corner, but he may be on the outside for the first down. Then second and third, he may move into the nickel slot. I mean, again, I think their mindset is, and again, this is me just trying to make sense of it, because I'm with you. I want Quinyon Mitchell starting day one outside. I think their mindset is, how can we get the most talent on the field at any given time? And I think that's what they're trying to do, right? Who's our playmakers? Who's our most versatile? And I think Quinyon has shown them that he's their most versatile. He picks up the information fast. He doesn't seem worried. He doesn't seem overwhelmed at all. He's been playing pretty well. So, but I do feel you, though. You draft him in the first round. You want him out there, period. Last question, Jay. Now, a lot of people have been making a lot of a big deal when it comes to Jalen Hurts' training camp performances, right? He hasn't thrown an interception. He's been sharp, right? Let me ask you this. Do you believe that narrative has been overblown? You know, should people pump the brakes and be mindful that this is not a real game? Just are you still excited about it? How do you balance your excitement with your with you being realistic? How do you balance that?
Well, the way I look at it, like to balance it, is what was the training camp like last year? He was very inconsistent. He was missing receivers. He was throwing interceptions. He didn't look good. So, you know, me hearing that he's doing better, it means that he's improving his craft. And that's all we want him to do. I mean, granted, it's not game time, but, you know, he's improving his craft. It's showing him that he's got the work ethic. He's putting in the work. He's doing the best he can, especially with the new offensive coordinator that's laying it down for him and giving him these positions where these receivers are going to be, you know, making these decisions. The only downside I really don't like about the offense, I feel like they're going to be passing a lot. And, you know, that's not really his strength. I feel like, but I know they got to improve it because eventually he's going to have to be a pocket quarterback like Donovan was. Because remember how Donovan was when he first started? He was running around like crazy. So, you know, maybe that's what they're doing. But it is definitely good. It is just practice. It's the same team. It's the same people you've been seeing. You know what their deflects are, and like what they're going to do. You kind of know their motions and stuff like that. So plus he's also been working with Vic Fangio. Like, all right, well, why did you send this blitz and why are you doing this? He's picking brains. I like that because he was really bad on blitz pickups. And then they've been saying like, he's going to have more control over the offense. So if he's going to have more control of the offense, he needs to know the blitz pickups. He needs to know what he's doing. He needs to know his check down. He needs to know who's cutting across the middle or who's right there, when he's got that blitz coming so he can get it out quick. That 2 point, whatever second they said that they were trying to get to. So, it's just making the good reads, hoping he does it. Jalen's got this, man. I really feel like he's probably improving. And I'm waiting to see Brazil and see what they're going to do, even though I hate that they're in Brazil.
Yeah. I'll be honest. That whole Brazil game is messing with me. But
they stole the home game from us. Facts.
Sure did. And
it's an interconference game. Like, why can't we play the Browns or somebody if we're going to do that?
That's what I wanted. I wanted it to be an AFC team. So regardless, it doesn't kill you as much. But
yeah. I think they're going to go out there and do it as long as everybody's healthy. I think they're going to do it. Yeah,
I think so too. Jay, my man, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you kicking it with me, being our first one up, man, being fearless. A lot of people, they get in the live chat and they talk a lot, but they're afraid.
Man, I've actually been thinking about starting to do my own podcast. Like, I got to, I'm trying to figure out, because I wanted more equipment. I really don't have equipment. I'm using my phone. So, like, I got to get some equipment. I want to do it, call it the VA Birds, man. You know what I'm saying? Come from Virginia, bro.
I'll put it like this real quick, but before I let you go, my friend, I started doing everything on my phone. Everything, recording, editing. Your phone get a little hot sometimes because you want it, but I started off doing everything with my phone. And here I am, man. So you got to start somewhere, even if it starts with you making just 3-minute reaction videos, 3-minute little videos breaking down what your opinion is about this topic. Just get it out there, and you just build it, and you stack those reps. You be consistent. People respect consistency more than talent any day of the week. I know people.
Absolutely.
People tell me all the time, "So you good at what you do." I'm like, "It's cool, but I got to show up every day. I got to show up for my people." So, Jay, if you want it, you do it. Simple as that. And then when you get to a certain point, maybe I could be one of your first guests. You never know. So
hey man, I'd be down for it. Shoot it. Hey, look, if I can get Philly 500, that'd be even doper too. I like to get all y'all guys, man. Shoot, man. Hey, because I be watching all of y'all guys every day, getting everybody's opinion, get y'all's breakdowns. It's like what I do every day. Like that's literally my daily thing. My wife gets mad at me sometimes, but it is what it is.
I know exactly what that's like. Man. So,
hey, look, man, you got to get one of these, though. You got to get one of these. Hey, look, sign rookie picture. Hey, look, you got to get you one of those for the back.
No, I do. It's so funny. I was able to get, and I'm gonna get my next person on here real quick. Trenton, I got you, Trenton. I got you. I know you waiting patient, Trenton.
Yeah, my bad.
No, you are good. I actually was able to get my dad a signed Seth Joyner jersey, Hall of Fame jersey. Yeah, I was able to get Seth to sign that thing right in front of me. It was dope.
Hey, look, if I ever got something signed by Seth, I'd be hyped. So I know he was.
My dad, I got a frame for him and everything, and then Seth even recorded like a birthday shout out for my dad. It was dope, man. It was dope. It was cool. Yeah. So listen, Jay, again, my man, I always appreciate you when you come on. Whenever I do the next calling, you come.
I'll be back.
And
I'll be back.
Hey,
if I got to sneak at work, I might even do it again. Who knows?
I like it, Jay. Listen, one love, big dog. You take care, all right?
Are you too, Famo?
All right. That was solid, man. That was solid, man. Shout out to Jay for being the first one on the chopping block. Appreciate Jay for always showing love, coming in with that swagger, coming in with that Philly energy. Even though he from the VA, he rep Philly to the day he died. So shout out to my man Jay, man. Really appreciate him. Next up, I have a special guest coming on. This brother's been waiting very patiently. The man, the myth, the legend, none other than Trenton Wright. Trenton Wright, what's good, big dog? How you feeling, sir?
What's up, brother? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. You crystal, man. You crystal.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
first and foremost, I think this is your first time as a guest on, right?
Yes, it is. I love
Man,
the content, man. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, man. I listen. I appreciate you sticking around. I appreciate you finding me. I appreciate you hitting that like button, subscribing. It goes a long way with me, my friend. I know this stuff is. I know you guys got a ton of options, and you still decide to come here and kick it with me on the daily. I can't take that for granted. So let's get right into the content, my friend. You know, I'm gonna start off with you with the question I left off with my man Jay. Right. You know, a lot of people have been really excited about Jalen Hurts' precision and how in command he's been in the offense and training camp and how he hasn't turned the ball over. And, you know, what we're hearing is that he's loose and he's confident and he has this new outlook on just the offense and life. He's going to have more control. You know, how do you balance that excitement and optimism with that healthy level of realism? How do you balance those two competing feelings you have?
You know, I really see a difference in his body language. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter that video of him riding in the golf cart with Nick Sirianni and Big Dom. I just think he's more loose. He's feeling himself a little bit more. He's obviously more vocal than he was last year, and I appreciate that out of him. He usually is kind of like a quote machine. He's great at the podium, but sometimes his body language on the sideline wasn't the best last year. I appreciate that he's being more loose. In regards to the no interceptions, I'd say I take some stock in that. I'm glad he's being careful with the football. But then again, it kind of gets me a little bit concerned about our secondary, to be honest, that they haven't picked him off in all these practices. But I do like that he's being more careful with the football. Turnovers was a big issue last year, not all of them being his fault. I'm a big Hurts supporter for sure. But I do like what I've seen out of Hurts from camp. I just got a question for you, brother.
Oh, for sure.
Who is your surprise breakout candidate for this year? Mine would be Jordan Davis.
Ooh.
I think playing next to Jalen Carter is going to significantly benefit him. They're going to have that Georgia chemistry, and they're going to wreak havoc.
That's a good question because I got a couple of people that I'm really excited about this year because of just who they're going to be playing with. Okay, I'll put it to you this way. I think the most necessary breakout candidate is Jordan Davis. You need him to break out. Like
for sure.
His success is okay. The Eagles' defensive success is so tied to his success because he's your nose tackle. His job is to be able to pick up two, maybe three offensive linemen, depending on how things go, right? His job is to pick up double teams so he can create those one-on-ones for Jalen Carter, for Nolan Smith, for Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat, BG, right? Jordan Davis has to be able to pick up two guys at any given time. On top of that, he has to be a force in defending the run. He has to find a way to cut through. His conditioning has to be at a pinnacle. We understand how talented
at his size, brother. There's no excuse.
Bro, we've seen how good he can be, right? We've seen it.
Yeah.
So we know it's there. So when we look at him, we say, brother, just take care of your body. And Clint Hurt said today that he's really seeing a clear difference in the accountability that Jordan Davis is putting on himself, right? And just how Jordan Davis is talking, he seems like somebody who he gets it now. I feel like he's trying to turn the page. He cut his hair. He just seems like a new energy, a new vibe, walking different, talking different. Sounds like he's really trying to take command of this defense, and he understands that I gotta win for my, if my dog's gonna win, I gotta win first.
And I think Vic Fangio actually has a big part in that. I like his no nonsense attitude at the podium. It's so refreshing to hear a guy just be honest. Like when Nakobe had a rough open practice, he came right out and said it, man. He didn't sugarcoat anything. And I think this defense needs that. I think they were lacking that last year.
Very good point. And it's funny you say that. Ever since that moment, Nakobe Dean has been what?
A lot better.
He's been better.
He's showing flashes, man.
Right. And you see me, right? I've been very honest about where I am with Nakobe Dean. I've been very respectful as well. I take my role here serious as somebody who not just talks about the game, but I want to show respect for it as well. And I've been respectful, but I've been very critical. And he's starting to string these moments together now. Can he stay healthy? That's what we're waiting on. Just
that's
can
a big
he stay
thing,
healthy?
yep.
Yep. I got some more questions for you though before I get you out of here, my friend. I really
Sure
do
thing, man.
appreciate you. I appreciate you asking me about my breakout player. Jordan Davis is the most necessary, but I think
we definitely agree on that then.
Yeah, but I got the sneaky feeling that Reed Blankenship is going to surprise some people this year.
What do you mean surprise people? He's been my favorite safety since last year, man. I think Reed's a great player.
I like him. Some people they're iffy about him. You know, he's not the fastest guy. You know,
That's true.
You don't want him going stride for stride with somebody. He's going to get burnt. You don't want him to compromise positions. But I just got this feeling that Reed Blankenship is going to be very reliable. You know, I'll say that. But yeah, as far as my other questions for you goes, since we were talking about the linebacker position, right? Let me ask you this question, and I think this is where things get interesting. You know, we've heard various people say throughout the offseason that by mid-season they wouldn't be surprised if Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is starting, right? A lot of people are high on him. But let me ask you this. Between Trotter Jr. and Nakobe Dean, who's more likely to end up as a starting linebacker before the end of the season? And who's more likely to be the one to lose their job? Devin White or Zach Bond?
To be honest, man, I hadn't heard of Zach Bond before this year, so I think he's pretty easily replaceable in the eyes of at least Sirianni and the other coaching staff. Maybe not Fangio, because he seems to have a pretty good opinion of him. But really, I think Nakobe, with his progression he's made this offseason and the fact that he's a high-round draft pick, wasn't he a third-round pick, brother?
Yes. Yeah. Nakobe was a third, yes.
Yeah, so you have a lot invested in him, and if he makes that improvement, you have to start him, man. So I think he could easily replace Zach Bond. I think Devin White's going to have a bounce-back season.
Okay.
I like the characteristics I see for him, especially in the blitzing packages that Fangio's come up with. I think he's going to have a good season. Trotter Jr., I'm not really sure. I have seen flashes. I do like him as a player. I think maybe next year is when he takes that step. I think a lot of our young defensive guys are going to take that next year step. Like if Keely Ringo gets beat out by Isaiah Rodgers just for experience reasons, he's still going to be starting on the outside with Q next year.
Yes, I agree.
That's my opinion. So we have a youth movement on defense. I'm really excited about that. We were really relying on guys like Fletcher Cox and some other veterans to pull their weight last year, and they did the best they could. But we need to get that young talent in there as soon as possible, in my opinion.
For sure, Trent. Thank you so much for locking in the way you have been, my friend. Final question for you. I'm gonna get you out of here. Make sure you guys smash that like button. You guys are tuned in to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm here with my loyal subscriber, my loyal viewer, Trenton Wright. So, Trenton, final question, my friend. We've talked about the DB room and the competition and stuff like that. The safety room, it gets talked about, but not as much as it probably should. Obviously, CJ has battled injuries in the past. Reed Blankenship has been in and out of the lineup last season. What do you believe the Eagles will ultimately do with James Bradberry?
I'm thinking how he's going to flip him for a 5th-round pick, man. I don't see how he makes this roster. If you saw the preseason game with Maddox getting that interception, I think that kind of sealed Bradberry's fate right there. Because Maddox has already proven himself in the slot when he can stay healthy. And if he has the versatility to back it up and play safety too, you really don't need Bradberry on this roster. Now, no offense to him. I thought he was great in 2022. I thought the holding call in the Super Bowl was complete bullshit, to be frank. Not trying to be profane here.
No, you're fine, my friend. You're fine.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think he has a place on the roster. And I commend him, though, for taking that chance and trying out for the safety position. Shows he's a hard worker, shows he's going to be a good player in this league for however long his career continues. I just think it's done in Philly, man. I just don't see how you justify keeping him on the roster with all these young DBs.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. The Avonte Maddox angle was very, very sharp by you, because when I saw that play, I was like, Avonte, and I think Avonte made that as a safety, didn't he?
Yeah, he was lined up at safety on that play. And what I want to say about that is Avonte's actually been one of my favorite players on this defense. He just can't stay healthy. Interesting. It's very interesting. Him and Goddard have been roommates, I think, for the last couple of years, and they're always injured at the same time too. It's a bad coincidence, but those players are productive when they're on the field, man. Like, I've always had a high regard for Maddox as a player.
Well, hopefully this season is a little different. You know, hopefully they decided to get their own places from now on, because they both made good money in this league thus far. Hopefully they got their own spot. And they're not sharing, and they're not sharing protein shakes anymore, because somebody wasn't getting they filled. Both those guys, you're right, they couldn't stay healthy. They were always hurt around the same time. both from the same draft class. It was very strange.
Crazy, man.
Very strange. But yeah, Avonte Maddox, sneaky good player. I've always liked him. Just can't stay healthy. More physical than what he gets credit for. Fast as hell.
Sure.
I feel you on that. Trenton, my friend, couldn't have asked for anything more from you, my friend. I really do appreciate you taking the time out, being confident enough to not only talking the live chat, but also being confident enough to come on and speak your piece about your Philadelphia Eagles.
I got one more question before
please.
I leave.
Yes,
man.
please.
Just for you. Where'd you get that hat? I've got an Eagles hat collection. I haven't copped that one yet.
My dad, it's funny
the
you
new
say
watermark today.
That's what I need. I need the one with the new
I just added this. I'm not a fan of the new watermark, but it's got to go with the collection. And I got this beanie for my wife.
Okay.
So she'll be rocking that Eagle swag this year.
It's funny. My wife doesn't care anything about football, but she cares that I care about it. So that's about
exactly. No, she fell in love with the game. She can analyze cover 2 at this point, man.
What?
Because I'm into it.
Nah. See, the best I'm getting from my wife these days is, hey, was that a first down? Or
hey, man, I'll let you go. I won't take any more of your time.
Good,
I appreciate the work you do. I appreciate the work you do. The content is stellar. I agree with Jay, your first call in. I would be interested in starting a podcast as well. I don't care if I get any views, but after the Packers game, I'm going to have a reaction stream for sure.
Just do it. Have fun.
Yep.
Give you maybe 2 to 5 minute videos. Give you your spiel or whatever's going on. Just have fun with it, man. Because and again, it all depends on what you want from it, right? You put what you put in is what you'll get out, and I say that to anybody about anything in life. What you put into it, you get out of it. And if it's just a hobby to have fun, then you just do that, man. And like I said, you build it. You never know. I may be your first guest, so just bro, just keep putting that work in, man. Like I'm always gonna be here putting that work in, and I'm always open to working with new people. So Trenton, I appreciate your support. I appreciate your kind words, my friend.
And I appreciate you, brother. Have a good night, man. I'll keep watching the stream.
Yes, sir. Take care, my guys. Always appreciate it. That was cool, man. Trent was cool. That was nice. That was dope, man. That was dope. I really do appreciate Trent for coming on. Next up, I have the lovely lady who's been waiting patiently. I had to bring on none other than Nico Share from the Share family. I can't wait to speak to this person because it's always been nothing but positive things. How you doing, Miss Share?
Hello there, Tone.
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. I can't complain not one bit. I'm grateful that you're here. So let's get right into it, right? And if you can do me a favor, I don't know if you're playing me in the background anywhere else. Can you turn that down? Maybe it's the TV or something like that. Are you playing me in the background somewhere?
Sure can. Hold on.
Yep, no problem. Just turn that down for me.
1 second, Tom.
No problem. Take your time. All right. So again, right? I can't really be thankful enough to the amount of support I've gotten from the Share family, to the amount of support that I've gotten from everybody else. It's been so dope. So I gotta ask you, Miss Share. I gotta ask you. So far,
it's Grammy, Tone.
I gotta ask you. Say it again.
It's Grammy, Tone.
It's good to see you. So I gotta ask you, who are you most excited to see going into this season?
Oh, White. He got a bad rep out of Florida because of the way they were dealing things. He wanted out. He wanted a new contract. The fella is, I'm looking to see where Sarah is. The fella is doggone fine when it comes to that line and holding his own. Basically, when you watch him, he's in total concentration. He knows who is where. You don't see that because his head is constantly moving side to side to get that view of who's coming at him, who he's got to defend. And they down there did not appreciate what the man could do. One thing I gotta let you know, Tone, is that I follow you, Joey, and Philly because we are off-grid. Now, what that means is we have no electrical. We run off of solar and wind out here.
Wow.
And having a TV does not work. So when Philly 500 is up and on and he is transmitting the games, we listen.
Wow, that's awesome. That's dope.
You have heard, or our Sarah has said about old videos. I've got betas of Roman Gabriel. I mean, she watches this. She looks to see what's what. She will ask about this one or that. And as you know, I'm old school. My hero growing up was Roman Gabriel because he was the first Filipino player in the NFL.
Wow.
And we only lost him back in April. So our Eagle flags went down half-mast the day we got word that we lost him. And wow. We moved out here 30 years ago. One of our favorite places to hang was, when I was off duty, was New Hope. We went back. She's almost 11 now, so she was about 3. We went back to visit family. She has an autographed Eagles jersey from Michael Vick, who was living at New Hope at the time. So that is framed up in her bedroom. She wasn't a dog issue, but he kind of became her interest in the Eagles.
Okay.
Because he sat down and talked to her for 10, 15 minutes at a little cafe up there when she spotted him. She was only 3. And he took the time she had her Eagles hat on, and he took the time to talk to her. And that's what started her entire world of the Eagles.
You know, that's beautiful to hear. And I'm so grateful that you guys sent me that really touching email about you guys' story, Sarah's story. I think that it really made my day, and it really motivates me to continue to do the best I can by giving this content to you guys. And I think that's so dope that, you know, there are Eagles fans, no matter where you search, no matter where you are, you're going to get your Eagles fix no matter what. And I think that's so awesome to hear. I do have another question to ask you, though, before I get you out of here, though. Is that okay?
That's fine, hon.
All right. I got to ask you this, right? So who do you think, well, let me ask you this, right? What was your reaction? What was your feelings when the Philadelphia Eagles decided to sign Saquon Barkley?
Oh, through the roof. We had her unkie, as she calls Shanti, lives in Philadelphia. He is at our old house on Hurley Street, right at K&A, basically. He was on the TV, and I got a call. Mom, there's this program on, and he was talking about the program. I can't remember what the name of it is, but where they go into the front office of the Giants. And he was like, "We got to get Barkley."
Hard Knocks.
Yeah, we got to get Barkley. And he's going on and on. And I'm like, okay, I've seen Barkley play, you know, bits and pieces. What's going on? And he was like, Eagles are, you know, in this mix. And when the word came down, my phone literally imploded with Shanti. And I'm like, okay, hold it, because he speaks with a slight stutter. And I'm trying to calm him down, and I'm trying to get Sarah's world together. And she is like she's got ADHD on top of everything else. She is hopping all over the place, back and forth and screaming at me. She's got to get to send her a Barkley shirt. And I'm like, wait a minute, let me send you this out. And once I realized what was what, it was, and my husband is like your wife. He does not follow football at all. He came back to the Baltimore Colts as a child. But when it comes to the Eagles, it's like, okay, I'll get the sodas, I'll get this. You guys put that on and explain it to me. And we do this, but he was like, I heard of Barkley. I know who he is. What is going on? And our house just went nuts at that point. We had phone calls coming in left and right, back and forth. Sarah's got a little dog named Mouse, who is Chewini. And you might see her roaming back and forth behind me, or a cat. Sarah's got all kinds of a menagerie out here. But she actually picked up Mouse, spun her through the air, and started dancing around with her and jumping up and down. We got Barkley for 2 days straight.
That is awesome.
Was
That
all
is
I
awesome.
heard. Sarah has a question for you.
Yes,
When
yeah,
the
sure.
fall breaks and she has made a Kelly green and white Afghan. She crochets.
Okay.
It's for her bed. It's got the letter E in the middle of it. She wants to know if she can send you an email with a photo of it along with the jersey she made for the mouse that actually says across the back, Mouse K9.
Yeah, she can send me a picture of that in the email. Yeah, yes. Send me an email with the picture, and as a matter of fact, we'll post it on the show. That'd be cool. Yeah, she can do that.
She worked on this with me last winter, sitting here listening to Philly 500, doing his podcast.
That's my man.
And when we imploded, she said to me, "I'm making a pillow." Okay, what are you doing? She said, "It's going to be." She kind of looked at me and blinked. She said, "Mr. Philly might be mad at me, but it's going to be Cowboys blue with the white star." I said to her, "Okay."
Oh,
and she
God.
said, "Then the Cowboys still stink." And she's got it on her bed. And she has taught the mouse when the Eagles score a touchdown to jump up and down on this pillow.
Oh my goodness, that is hilarious.
Stomping out the Cardinals for the Cowboys for the Eagles. So she's a trip. I tried to get her in here, and she was like, "No, Grammy, you talk to Mr. Tone."
It's okay. It's okay. So listen, it's okay. I'm glad we were able to finally meet and have a conversation. It's always great meeting the people that support you. I think that's so amazing. I love how committed you guys are to your Philadelphia Eagles. That means a lot to me. Grandma Cher, I'm so grateful for you. I have other guests lined up. I cannot wait to bring you on next time. So as you already know, I appreciate you. So much love sent your way. So many blessings sent your way. Please send me the pictures of the crochet with the Eagles logo, and I can't wait to hear from you next time. Okay.
Okay, sweetie. You and your wife have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Take care. Oh, that was so sweet. That was so sweet, you guys. That was so sweet. Showing mad love from all across the world, man. Listen, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're off the grid or on the grid. It doesn't matter where you are. You got to get your Eagles fix. It's just that simple, right? Now, I do want to bring up my man, Rob Dice. My man, Rob Dice has been waiting very patiently. Let me see if I can get my man, Rob Dice on. All right. Let's see. Big Rob, is that you?
Tone.
Hey, Big
there?
Rob, how you feeling, sir? How you feeling? Can you hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you. I can't
All
see
right,
me though.
Okay, so you might, if you want to turn your, there we go.
There we go.
So, all right,
just chilling here with my.
We got you, Rob. Oh, I think I lost Rob. All right, we'll bring Rob up. We'll bring Rob back up in a little bit. All right, I got to bring up my next person's been waiting patiently. My man S Blunt. S Blunt, you still there, big dog? You still there? There you go. All right, I'm gonna bring up Rob after S Blunt. My man S Blunt, the OG, triple OG.
What's up?
I ain't seen you in a while, man. How you been?
Good,
first and foremost,
brother? Everything's all good. Everything's all good.
How was your vacation? I heard you was in was it Jamaica or the Bahamas? Which one?
Actually, I went on a cruise. So first we were celebrating a couple milestone birthdays in Miami, and then after that we got on a cruise. Yeah, went on the latest ship, Royal Caribbean. It was real live.
That's cool. That's good to
hear. I never cruise. I tell everybody that's the best way to vacation. You get out there and they take you to 4 different islands. They got your food for you, your entertainment. It's the best way to go.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Let's get into it as a blunt. You know me and you. I love your perspective because you kind of rationalize some of my thoughts sometimes. So I really do appreciate you for always taking that time on, my friend. So let's get right into it. I gotta pick off where I left off with some other people, right? Jalen Hurts, he's been getting a lot of praise internally about how sharp he's been in training camp, right? We've been talking about it, we've been excited about it, for good reason. And I get it. He's coming off of a season where it wasn't really his best, but turning the football over. Yeah. But I want to ask you because I consider you one of my more rational Eagles fans that I know. How do you balance that excitement and that enthusiasm for hearing that the quarterback is sharper than ever versus that realism and just being, pragmatic about what really has to transpire for us to really know if this thing is legit or not? How do you balance those competing feelings and thoughts about, Jalen Hurts' success right now?
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, it is practice, right? We want them to practice good habits because that's what, ultimately good habits can lead to on-field success.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, Hurts has had almost interceptions throughout this training camp. I mean, Avante could have picked one off today. So, you know what I mean? We got to keep this in perspective. I mean, he's thrown balls that have been placed in the defensive hands. They just dropped it. So let's not. I wouldn't get too excited about all of that. At the end of the day, like AJ said, he's executing. I think when we go back to the OTAs, if you take it back to the OTAs, there were a lot of concerns about this new Kellen Moore offense and how much he was going to get a grasp of it. What he's shown now is he's got a grasp. Things are starting to slow down. He's seeing the field. He's throwing it across the middle now. He's throwing deep shots, a few check downs as well. They're going to still incorporate his run game and utilize his legs. He's got his legs back, which that's just a benefit to us because he wasn't looking healthy last year. So when you look at everything, you look at the fact that he's got now the offense down. When you look at he's seeing the field, those are the things we need to get excited about. The interceptions, let's not get caught up with that because he could have easily got a couple. He could have got a pick today. So I don't even want to get caught up with that.
Very good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
There's definitely been plenty of moments where the defense, that may say something about the defense, them not bringing it in. But as far as Jalen Hurts goes, for me, like you said, I'll care more about the fact that he's commanding his offense, right? He's making the right calls. He's handling the pressure, right? Because what I've been hearing is Fangio, he's been hitting them with all different kind of blitzes, zero blitzes, and all that kind of stuff, just trying to make him as uncomfortable as possible. And they've been saying he's been getting the ball out on time, not being shy about hitting the check down. And then to take it a step even further, right? When that ESPN article came out, I think the one nugget we should have took from it above all else is the fact that Jalen Hurts, he wants this offense to improve. He wants this offense to take it to another level. He wants more complexity. He wants to, take advantage of the intermediate, the middle of the field and the short game. He wants to utilize the whole repertoire, right? This first couple seasons of success with the Eagles, right? They've been explosive, play happy. Yeah. And now we're starting to see this offense starting to become more ironed out and which is more filled out with just more dynamic quarterback play and just more dynamic execution, right? Again, by utilizing the short and the intermediate game, because that kind of stuff can set up the deep game. You feel what I'm saying?
We've never had to worry about Jalen Hurts' work ethic. Anybody who's an Eagle fan, we know he comes to work. He's going to get it. He's going to ask the right questions. He's going to put time in the film room. He's going to put the hours in. That's never been a concern for us, right? What we're concerned is to make sure that he's distributing the ball to a little bit of everybody, not just locked into AJ. Mm-hmm. He's getting it. There's obviously some new schemes, so the defenses aren't just saying, okay, we know exactly what they're about to run. So we need some nuance. That's why we got Kellen Moore. And then also the legs. Now he's got his legs back. We want that balance. You want the balance so you scare the offense. If you got Jalen Hurts that can hit you multiple ways, I heard your last caller talk about trying to change him to Donovan McNabb. To me, that's not really Jalen Hurts. Could he ever eventually maybe have to be forced to that? To me, then he might become a Russell Wilson, where Russell Wilson is today. Russell Wilson, when he had his legs in Seattle, that's when he was at his optimum. When he really scared the defense. That's what we want with Jalen Hurts. He's going to do it ground and air. We want it both ways.
Yeah, and I'll take it a step further. Russell wasn't really Russell. Like, I'll put it this way. Russell was Russell when he has a running game, period, right? Not just his ability to get that, get his legs going, but we ain't seen Russell really have those years that we used to since he lost Marshawn Lynch, really, right? And then the running back position was kind of a carousel with Chris Carson, and then they had
Yep.
Rashad Penny during this time. So he really didn't have a legitimate run game in a while. And that's kind of when we started to see them rely heavily on him to make magic happen.
Right.
And I think that's where the Saquon Barkley effect comes in, right? You add Saquon Barkley to this offense, it really it legitimizes your running game. And then what we're hearing Kenny Gainwell is making strides in camp as well. Everybody's hearing that he came in a different Kenny Gainwell. All right, I'll take their word for it. Moving on, though, I want to ask you some questions about the defensive side of the ball. Even though the offense is fun, I think the defense, that's where the real where the real thinking starts to happen, right? Earlier I asked, somebody, what would happen if Trotter or Dean took somebody's starting job, right? And I worded to you like this: between Trotter and Dean, who's more likely to end up as a starting linebacker before the end of the season? And if they do, who's more likely to lose their job? Devin White or Zach Baun?
Oh, that's easy, man. First of all, Dean, he is showing out, man. This last almost 2 weeks. I don't know who this guy is. He's the guy that we were expecting coming into Georgia. Is who this guy has been. So, and Zach Baun, I think Zach Baun has been a test trial run in inside linebacker. I don't know that he's the permanent solution. So I think it's easily you always going to go with the guy that's been there for now. This will be his third year, and Dean, he's now showing what we were looking for in the last couple of weeks. The question is, can he be consistent? The question with all these linebackers are, can they cover out in space? But quite honestly, really, none of them can quite cover really great in space. They're great downhill. They're great at tackling on the run. They're great. I think are really good at blitz packages, especially Devin White. But I think Devin White is somebody that Fangio is relying on as far as his experience. So his expectation is definitely Devin White on that. Probably going to have Devin White as middle linebacker and probably going to have Dean as weak side linebacker. But really in this scheme, they're interchangeable, to be honest with you. But I think that's an easy question because quite honestly with you, Tone, I'm going to be honest with you. I think don't be surprised if by next week, so next week, of course, is cut down day. Yes. And then the Eagles essentially have like a bye week, which is going to be a preparation week, really going into that Brazil game. Don't be surprised if that Brazil game, if Dean is starting. I know they've been showing all training camp, Braun and White. Don't be surprised if Dean is starting in that Brazil game because they got that bye week, and really that preparation time. Don't be surprised by that.
You know what? They've given him every opportunity to try to, shake things up with Zach Baun. And I like that. Nakobe really hasn't been. He turned the corner once Vic Fangio called him out. That's honestly when it happened, right? Because that open practice, he got worked by Kenny Gainwell more than one occasion, and then ever since he got called out by Fangio, it kind of seems like he started stringing together these moments and these performances. And look, as exciting as it is, he got to stay healthy. Obviously, we needed to translate in the regular season, and my optimism is growing for him, right? Now I don't look at him as somebody who that might be a lost cause. Now I look at him as somebody, okay, what if he does figure it out? Because when he's making decisions and he's playing fast, you see how fast he gets downhill. So, and he fits those run gaps very well. Yeah. We'll see. We'll definitely see how that pans out. Let me ask you about another player, right? That there are some concerns about. James Bradberry, and I framed it like this to my last caller, right? I framed it like this: CJGJ has dealt with injuries in the past. Reed Blankenship has been in and out of the lineup since last season. Sidney Brown coming in off the PUP list. Yeah. That safety room is kind of standing on shaky ground. Do you think there's any situation where James Bradberry is retained on his roster, or just better yet, what do you believe his future ultimately is?
I heard the caller before talked about a 5th-round pick. Man, we would be lucky to get a bag of chips for James Bradberry, much less a 5th-round pick, man. We're not getting no 5th-round pick. He doesn't have 5th-round pick value, man. So let's just keep it real with each other. James Bradberry does not bring value in the trade market, or else Howie would have already dealt him by now. So at best, maybe we could get a 7th-round pick. So I think we're just going to end up releasing him, to be honest with you. And to be real with you, I really think they should go ahead and release him now. Give that man a chance to go ahead and find another team.
Bingo.
And jump on it. Yeah, jump on another squad. Just release that man. I don't think he has any trade value, to be honest with you. I think Eli Ricks, on his rookie deal, I think he has more trade value because of his age, because of his contract. I think we should really try to get a young, I know they talked about the guy from the Texans, the receiver. I think is Mechie.
Mechie, yeah.
The
kid that beat cancer, yeah.
Yeah. Now that's what we should try to do. I mean, is try to see if we could do a deal with the Texans. They got an abundance of great young talent at wide receiver. We take a Eli Ricks to trade him over. James Bradberry, though, going back to your question, I think he's proven that last preseason game. Safety is not his thing, man. Yeah. I mean, we gave it a try. I said all along, the guy is not a tackler. In order to play safety, you got to hit. Yeah. He already proved that that's not his thing.
He not trying to get physical out there. You could tell.
No, he's not. You got to step up and hit, man. And so if you can't do that, and you don't have the good instincts, I mean, he's a smart guy. I like James Bradberry as a man. I wish him nothing but the best.
Right. But ain't that the hardest part about it? When it's like, I respect you so much as a man, as a human, but it's just like you ain't got to go home with you ain't got to go home with you. You got to get the hell out of here, right?
Bro, I like you on the coaching staff, man. To be honest with you, hey, we can have. I'll be okay if somebody wanted to bring James Bradberry as a coach. I think he's a sharp guy, very good communicator. I'll take him as a coach.
Yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that. Last one as bump before I get you out of here, my man. I really do. I always appreciate you coming on. I always like when we talk, man. Especially when it's a slower day. I don't mind keeping you on here for a whole half an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Man, we can chop it up
for sure. But I definitely want to make sure I bless all the people who've been waiting patiently. So my final question for you though, right? Let me get you here. So we've talked about players that we like, players that we think could make a push or whatever. Who do you believe is a dark horse to make this roster? Who do you believe is somebody that we're not really talking about much, somebody that's getting overlooked? Who do you have making this roster that many people aren't really talking about? Who's your dark horse?
Booker on the D tackle.
Yes, I like him.
He's got a shot, and it's going to depend on what he does in this last preseason game.
He had a good one against the Patriots. He had a good one.
He showed out.
Forced that sack and then completely blew up the deal off. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. He showed out. So I look at him, Ben Van Sumeren. He has the potential of making the team. I know Vangio just brought over the guy from Denver, Caden. I think it's Caden Stern.
Yep.
I have not seen the guy play. If he's healthy, I know Vangio thinks very highly of him. He has potential. Trying to think, am I missing anybody? I like our 6th-round draft pick. Our draft pick, Dylan McMahon, as a backup center.
That's a good call. People were, because he's not the biggest guy either, but like he's been having an all right training camp in totality. Like,
Yep. So those are the guys that nobody's talking about. But check out Booker, man. If he has a strong performance against Minnesota, don't be surprised if they bring in they carry over 6 D tackles and Booker makes the squad. One thing you should do before I get off of here, Tone.
Yes.
I know you've been doing contests and all of that, or you not necessarily contests, but you've been giving out merch and stuff like that. Yep. We got the 53 coming up, right? Check this out. You should have a contest. So whoever gets the most for 53 and practice squad, whoever identifies the most for both 53 and the practice squad, they get some merch.
Ooh, you got to be good with that. You got to be good for that. But
Yeah.
like to your point though, right? So basically, who has the closest like to like the actual?
Yeah. Who gets the most? Yeah.
I might have to. That's fun. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
like
the only thing about it is it might be a lot. You got to do a lot of reviewing, but
yeah. A lot. Hey, listen, y'all. As bunch trying to give me more work. That's what it is.
You got to be like a school teacher. You grading papers, baby. You grading papers.
Oh man, but no, I like that though. Let me write that down here for real.
Man, it's something different. You know, it's a little challenge, man. That's all. A little challenge of how many people can get it right of what they think was going to be the 53-man roster plus who makes the practice squad. That's the thing that could break the tie there. The 16 people who make the practice squad.
No, that's fun. I may try that. Don't get mad at me if I don't though.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
I like that though. I do like that. I do like that idea for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, as blunt again, man. You know how to give it up, man. You know I appreciate
No
you. Got a lot of love for you, big dog. You show me a lot of love. You donate to the channel. You mean a lot to the overall success of this thing, my friend. Wouldn't have made it to 5,000 subs without you. Wouldn't make it to where we are without you, my friend. So I really do appreciate
it, man. I always enjoy chopping it up, man. Take care and stay blessed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's always good talking to my man S Blunt. Y'all know how he give it up, man. It goes without saying. All right, let's try my man Rob Dice one more time. Rob, are you there, big dog?
I hope so. What's up,
Hey, my guy. All right, let's do it. Do it, man. I appreciate you for being.
How you doing, man?
Doing well. Doing very, very well. I can't complain not one bit. I'm blessed. So let's get right into the shenanigans, sir. I gotta ask you this. You know, a lot of people have been excited about Jalen Hurts, and they've been really excited about Jalen Hurts' performances throughout the training camp and how he's been very accurate. He hasn't turned the ball over. I got to ask you, how do you balance that excitement with being a realistic Eagles fan?
Well, I remember what happened last year, so it's real easy to see the other side. You know, I'm not going to lie. I still got that feeling in me, but I like the excitement. I like the new guys we got in. You know, hopefully Shaquan, brings in different dimension. I'm not a fan. I'll be the first to say that. I think they paid him a lot of money and could have kept their old running back just the same. I don't expect them to do much. I don't expect them to do much more than our last running back did, because we throw the ball. We don't run the ball.
But isn't that the problem? The fact that we don't run the ball enough?
Yes, it is. But you're one dimensional. You throw it to two people. You know how many catches Goddard had in the last 7 games?
No, you're right. They had to prove, and that goes back to the point of like balancing, right? As much as excited as we are, like you said, they got to prove that they can do certain things. So I get it.
100%. I mean, what Shaquan brings is great, but we don't play that kind of ball. You know. Our offensive line loves running the ball too. That's the thing. We got that line.
We got it. So why not do it, Rob? Why not do it? This is the time. I think if
he gets like 2,000 all-purpose yards, great. You know what I mean? I'll root for him. He's my team now. But I don't like. I was a big part of this team when DeMarco Murray came over.
Yeah, don't remind me of that, Rob.
I have bad things with people coming from our division to our team. It's like they sacrifice us.
I get it.
No more mistakes. Bring in the young guys. Look, we could have brought Shipley. We got Shipley. You don't think Shipley could do? I think he's going to take Gainwell. I think he's going to take Gainwell's spot.
I think I've been talking about that. People have kind of like. People haven't taken me serious, but I feel like Shipley. I mean, Kenny Gainwell's in a contract year, so I understand what they're trying to do. But
Shipley's paid.
I feel like Shipley, man, if he just can continue to make those strides,
he runs hard.
He runs hard, man.
He runs over people. That's what we need.
So and honestly, what I think it's gonna come down to? It's gonna come down to who's the most willing pass blocker. If Will Shipley can pass block better than Kenny Gainwell, he's going to get more snaps than him. I can almost guarantee that. Let me ask you this, right? Let me ask you this question. Who's been your biggest standouts throughout training camp and preseason so far? Who's impressed you the most?
I love Q. Q is the man.
Q?
I think he can play anywhere.
I agree.
Look, if he's not starting day one, they're messing up.
I feel that. I feel it 100%. I feel like Q
battles with everybody.
Yes.
He talks and walks
everybody. Talk trash to everybody. He wants it. He wants it. That's what I like the most about him. He wants it. You know,
and
some
he
of these
wants
guys
to go against AJ. He wants to go against Devontae. You know, he's not scared of that. Look, you're prepared for the league. You're going against two of the best receivers in the league every day.
Facts. And that's the thing about it, right? When you're going up against guys like AJ Brown every day, Devontae Smith every day, who in this league is going to scare me, Rob? Tell me. Who?
We got the best wide receivers in the league.
That's how I look at it.
The best one, too.
The best
one,
too.
We don't have a third, but hey, we got Shaquan, we got Goddard, you know?
Yeah, and speaking of Goddard, right, you brought him up a couple times. This is a big year for Dallas Goddard, if you ask me.
I love Goddard.
I love him too, but those injuries,
he gets stupid injuries.
I love him. I think to your point, I think Dallas Goddard, he doesn't get talked about like this, but I believe Dallas Goddard is the most dangerous pass catcher on the Eagles. Because when he's eating,
he gets no attention.
When he's eating, when he's eating, everybody else, it opens up everybody. We move. Yep. That's just my opinion, though.
I mean, I don't think we have a player that can come close to what Goddard brings us as a tight end.
He's unique. He's very unique.
Yeah. We have nobody to fill that role. And that's scary. You know, when Goddard goes down, what happens to us? And then we stop throwing to him. What happened to us?
We're not the same. You're right. We're not the same. Let me ask you this, though. We talked about your biggest standout, right? Who's been your biggest disappointment? Who let you down the most so far?
That's a tough one.
Or let me ask you like this.
Because there's been different people. And then they step it up. Like, I was very disappointed in Dean, and all of a sudden, what's Dean been doing? You know, when it came game time, he played. You know? He was getting burned every day in practice by Gainwell. By Gainwell.
Well, let me ask you this then. Let me try to ask you like this. Who do you feel like you need to see more of, right? Who are you still not sure about?
Jalen Hurts.
Hey, I can't. I understand your
angle. No better important person to have a better year than Jalen Hurts. How he goes, his team goes. Look, our defense can be 20th ranked, and we can still make a run with Jalen Hurts playing top notch if he plays to his abilities.
You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. The weapons we got,
they can't stop us.
You're not wrong about that.
I expect this offense to put 30+ a game up.
Agreed. I think anything less. I think because last year they averaged top 10, I believe, but still, I believe that with this offense, these kind of guys you got on the team, this offensive line, all those guys, there's no reason you should average less than 28 points a game. Less. Less.
They need it. And the defense is going to have its struggles, but get them young guys in there. Because guess what? Yes. By week 10, week 12, we're set. We're good. We're good to go.
Bingo.
Bring it to the playoffs.
Bingo. Now, Rob, before I get you out of here, I got one last question for you, my friend. One last question.
All right.
Now, on game days, what's your food of choice? What's the spread looking like on game days?
I usually just go with pizza.
Sound like my dad. My dad, like pizza, wings. Keep it simple.
I'm a pizza and cheesesteak guy on game days.
Hey, I love it. I love it, man. I love it. Rob, I got a lot of love for you, big dog. I really do appreciate you for coming on, speaking your piece, being honest, being blunt. I do not take it for granted, big dog. Thank you so much for being a loyal supporter to the show. Staying locked in, hitting that like button, being subscribed goes a long way with me, Rob. So I really do appreciate you.
My camera.
Oh, I think I lost Rob. But again, thank you, Rob, for being a loyal supporter of the show, my friend. I appreciate your input. I love your perspective. Now I do got somebody else back here. Let me see if I can get my man Eagles Uncut on the bill. Let me see if he's still available to me. Eagles Uncut, you there, big dog? Oh, I lost him. Let me try again. All right, hey, Eagles Uncut, you there, my man?
What's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. How you feeling, sir?
I'm pretty good, bro. Let me see if I can turn on this camera real quick. Hold on.
Yeah. You all good. You all good, my friend. I'm just glad you're here. Glad you were patient enough, man. It means a lot to me. Hey, there we go.
There you go. There
I
you go.
appreciate you being patient, my man. You waited a long time, but you here. You're my final.
Yeah, bro.
You're my final calling for the evening. So let's get right into the shenanigans, right? So, training camp has been going on for quite some time. They've had about 15 practices on the grass. I gotta ask you, who's been your biggest standout throughout training camp and preseason so far?
I would have to say Jalen Hurts, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I know it's just practice. I know it's just training camp and all of that, but it doesn't matter. He's still breaking records, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He did it last year, during the season. Now he's doing it again this year, So I'll say Jalen Hurts.
Listen, I'm not mad at it because you can't ignore how efficient he's been, and he's one thing I give Jalen Hurts credit for is that he's been doing all the right things, saying all the right things. He just seems lighter this year. He seems like he's way more comfortable in his position, and all you can do is really just appreciate what he's shown you thus far and just hope for the best when the season starts. Now I got to ask you this question. Who's been your biggest disappointment? Who's let you down the most so far throughout training camp and preseason? Who did you expect more out of at this point?
I would say Bryce Huff, man.
Really? Okay, go ahead. Continue.
I mean, and the only reason I'm saying that, look, man, we replaced him. Oh, we replaced on Hassan Reddick with him. Okay, we playing him on. I think it's a little bit over 50 mil. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We have to get stuff from him. We gotta get at least 6 sacks from him. You know what I'm saying?
That's
the very minimum.
That's like
minimum.
I need 10. I need 10.
Yeah, like look, and for him, like I'm not hearing anything about him at all. Or if I hear, it's only it's not positive. So. I don't know about Bryce Huff, and that's I'm really disappointed, at least so far,
Yeah, in his defense, just to add more context, he played in 10 snaps in that Patriots game. He was pretty productive in run defense. Got pressure, but I think the biggest standout was watching him in run defense, and he's been getting a ton of pressure. He got a ton of pressure in that joint practice. Again, only practice. But to your point, he's been going up against Lane Johnson every day. Could that be the reason why he's been kind of quiet? And this is me just trying to peel the layers back. So could that be one of the reasons why he's been quiet? Because look, Hassan Reddick, his both seasons with the Eagles, his training camps have been quiet.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean,
it could be. But then again, like you said, it's only training camp. Like I just had to pick someone, and so far, if I had to pick someone that I've seen that haven't really improved much, I have to say him. Now, if you asked me about a week and a half ago, I would have said Dean.
Good. Okay,
so,
I feel you on that.
But right now it's Bryce Huff.
If it was me, I would replace Bryce Huff with Sweat. I haven't heard about Sweat at all throughout this training camp. But again, we're dependent on those guys, Sweat and Bryce Huff. It's a lot riding on those guys. As a matter of fact, let's stay in the defensive line room, right? Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams. Big years expected from all those guys. You need big years from those guys. Speak on the amount of pressure that's on a guy like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, right? Again, they are the heart of this defense. You lost Fletcher Cox, right? Speak on the amount of pressure that's on Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter entering the 2024 season.
I mean, it's all on their shoulders, man. You know what I'm saying? Whenever let's go back to 2022 season, when we have 70 sacks, it was all because of the D-line. You know what I'm saying? The D-line was like so fast and so so powerful that they were able to get to the quarterback super fast. You know what I'm saying? And now that we don't have, Fletcher Cox anymore, we don't have Sue, we don't have those guys that we brought in back in 2022.
Right.
Like Jalen Carter. And especially Jordan Davis, they both got to step up. You know what I'm saying? Now we saw how good Jalen Carter can be, based on last year, the first 8-9 games, I think all of the defense guys right now, especially playing so many snaps as much as they play, because they were so bad, but I think if we can get off the field like on third downs,
yes,
I think this defense can be like top 10 defense for sure.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I feel like a reasonable expectation is for them to be playoff level, and this is how I make sense of that. Right, 14 teams make the playoffs every year, 7 on both sides of the conference. If you can be a top 7 defense in your conference, if you can be a top 14 defense in the league, that's technically considered a playoff level defense.
Yeah,
so just based off the math. So if you can get to that level at the very least with these young guys, and we expect this thing to kind of be a slow burn a little bit. It's going to be a work in progress. I think this defense is going to be way better in week 11, week 12 than they are in week 2, week 3, week 4. You know what I mean? I think they're going to make a ton of progress between that time. Let me ask you a couple more, man, before I get you out of here. Again, Uncut, I appreciate you, man. And once again, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for having me on as a guest that one time, man. I really did appreciate that.
I appreciate you coming through, man.
That was fun. That was fun. Also, let me get these out of you real quick. Now, I know you mentioned how Bryce Huff has been a player that's kind of been a little bit disappointing for you, right? Is there anybody else on this roster that concerns you?
James Bradberry.
Okay, that actually takes me to my second question then.
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe they're going to ultimately do with James Bradberry? What do you think his future holds?
Either he's going to be traded or there's no way he's going to make the team. We have too much depth in a cornerback. And even though we don't have like a lot of depth on safety, he right now he's the last, depth piece on safety. You know what I'm saying? And I think I don't think he'll make the roster, even if he plays safety or not. I don't think he's going to be making this roster,
Wow. Let me get one more out of you, my friend. So the cornerback position has been very, very competitive.
Yep.
Right? Quinyon Mitchell, initially we thought would be competing for that CB2 spot, but it seems like since the Cooper DeJean injury, and Cooper's obviously back now, but since that injury, they've been working him out in the nickel, and it seems like they really like him there, at least for now. Give me your perspective on the position battle between Keely Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers, and just speak on the added dynamic of Quinyon Mitchell's skill set and Cooper DeJean's versatility to this DB room as a whole.
Look, man, to me, like you said, who's gonna start is gonna be Slay and Isaiah Rodgers, and then on the slide is gonna be Quinyon Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what I really wanted it was Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, and either Quinyon Mitchell or Avonte Maddox, because I think a lot of us are like we're down on Avonte Maddox. You know what I'm saying?
As a whole, we are. You're right. As a whole, I think we are.
And look, we got to be realistic, man. Whenever he was on the field, he was top 3 on the slot corner. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why I would be down on him would have just be based on him being like hurt a lot. Yeah. Besides that, he played like you can see even like him whenever he got a pick. You see that he's one of the best in the slot, and he's proving that he's a pretty good on the safety spot as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So and with that said, with Quinyon Mitchell, man, like what he can do everything, man. He's just gonna be one of the elite, cornerback in the league. Just like Patrick Surtain and Garner as well, from the Jets. I think he's gonna be up there, on his first year as well, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think Quinyon Mitchell is like the best kept secret, and when everybody finds out about him, it's going to be because he can do again. He's been moving around, and because Vic Fangio said he likes to throw a lot of his guys and then start to pull back depending on what they can retain. And I don't think they would be moving Quinyon Mitchell in that nickel and trusting him there if they weren't confident in his abilities. So I feel you on that, man. I'm really excited about Quinyon Mitchell.
Let me ask you this.
Yep,
now, if Cooper DeJean wouldn't be hurt, do you think he would have been started on the
outside?
slot? Yeah, instead of Mitchell?
So I think to answer your question directly, I think what the situation would have looked like was, or would have been, is Quinyon Mitchell and Darius Slay on the outside, and then Cooper DeJean on the inside in the slot.
Okay.
Because Isaiah Rodgers has said on more than one occasion that he doesn't play the slot. And then Keely Ringo is just not a slot corner. He's just too big. So it wouldn't work for him, just physically. Yep. So, and I honestly think Quinyon Mitchell, because he's the first round pick, and honestly, he's been their best corner, their most versatile. I think it would have been Quinyon Mitchell on the outside and Cooper in the slot, and then Slay on the outside. I think the Eagles really want to go all in on this youth movement on defense. As much as they can control it, I think they want to go all in on a youth movement, because I think beyond this year, the long-term vision is Keely Ringo and Quinyon Mitchell on the outside.
I agree.
Then you got Cooper DeJean in the slot. Then you got CJ GJ. Hopefully he's healthy and still here by this point in the backfield of the safety. And then Sidney Brown.
Yep.
I think that's their long-term vision, because you imagine you have Sidney Brown, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Keely Ringo, 4-year DBs on rookie deals.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine the kind of value you can get out of that if they're playing well? That would extend the Philadelphia Eagles window to a degree that we didn't even think about, because you got so much talent at that DB room, because they're so young, because they're still on rookie deals. You have financial flexibility to go crazy. So I think that's their long-term vision. It all remains to be seen, though. But I'm excited about where this DB room is going.
Facts. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. And one last thing too, bro. One last question for you. Let's say we'll go to the Super Bowl. Okay. Yeah. This offense is killing. All right. Now I want to know from you on what do you want and what do you think the Eagles are gonna do. Okay. We'll go to the Super Bowl. Offense is killing. Are we keeping Kellen Moore and letting go of Nick Sirianni, or are we keeping Kellen Moore and we put him as a assistant coach / coach, or we're gonna let Kellen Moore go?
Oh man. All right. So here's the thing, right? When your team does well, they want to hire your guys. They want to poach your guys, right?
Yep.
And I don't think the Philadelphia, again, it all depends on how this thing goes, but I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles want to lose Kellen Moore. I also don't think they want to look for another head coach anytime soon. So I think regardless of what happens, if this team does well, I think Nick Sirianni keeps his job. I really think so. Another thing is, we assume that and remind you, for some reason, Kellen Moore hasn't got a head coaching job yet. He's been interviewing a lot. He has number one offenses to his name, but for some reason, he's not getting a job. I don't know what that's about. So now, I know we automatically assume Kellen Moore is destined to be some head coach because of how young he is. What if there's not a job for him next year? Right? Could it be a situation where he bides his time in Philly? Remember, he's still a young guy. He doesn't have to jump on the first job he sees. He's a young guy, and he's smart, and he's a part of this new crop of young minds at the offensive coordinator position that's just pushing the game forward, right? Bobby Slowick, guys like that, right? Ben Johnson, he's a part of those guys. And both Ben Johnson and Bobby Slowick had opportunities to be the head coaches for Washington. I believe they had the opportunity to be the head coach for, I think, one of those Tennessee. I think Tennessee, one of the other. I can't remember. But both of those guys had jobs waiting for them, and they turned them down because the situation wasn't right. They knew for a fact that if this thing goes bad, I'm out of a job in 2 years, and then all of a sudden my resume completely goes down the drain. So I think these OCs are becoming smarter, and they're not just jumping on the first job that's available to them because it's a job available. I think they're realizing that OCs are starting to get more credit now than they ever have before, and people are starting to really shine light on those guys. So why not stay an OC for a quarterback in the team that I've been developing and I've been dominating with? For example, CJ Stroud. right? And then Ben Johnson pretty much revitalized Jared Goff. You know, we assume Kellen Moore wants a new job, or we assume that Kellen Moore is just going to automatically have his pick of the litter. We don't know that for a fact. So it could be a situation where Kellen Moore runs it back another year because A, the perfect job isn't available, or B, they just don't want him. So it all remains to be seen. But I think regardless of what happens, if this team does well, if they're winning and they make it to where we expect them to win, Nick Sirianni's not going anywhere. That's how I just don't see a scenario where you fire a coach after winning the Super Bowl or making it to the, you know what I mean? I don't. That's you got to make sense of that. Yep. You know what I mean? So, but stranger things have happened. So it all remains to be seen. Eagles Uncut, my brother. I appreciate you for asking me the question because that's an important question. It's something that we're thinking about. But let's live in this moment. Let's enjoy what's going on right now. We got the 2024 season ahead of us, brother, and we're gonna have a good ass time. I'll tell you that right now. It's up. The content gonna be flowing. That channel you building gonna be flowing. So make sure you ready. You buckle up, big dog, because
bro.
The likes, the subscribes, they're gonna funnel in, and then it's gonna be time to perform, player. So just make sure you lock in, because I know I see big things coming for you and your crew. So just make sure you guys stay locked in, my guys. That's all you gotta do. Stay locked in.
Appreciate it, bro.
It's gonna be fun. My man Eagles Uncut. Make sure I go check him out. They do. Matter of fact, tell people where they can find your work, where they can find your podcast, where they can find the show, and all that.
Yeah, man, you just gotta go on YouTube and press type Eagles Uncut 2.0. You're gonna find me over there. You know, it's gonna pop up right away. As well on Eagles Unleashed podcast, we do it like usually it's on a Monday night. We'll go live as well, all of us and the crew as well on game days as well. You know, and whenever we go live, I put in the links. Follow all my guys. You know, Diamond Crew, Quasi, Wheezy the Great as well. You know, so just type it in. You know, and you're gonna show their channels as well, and Kevin as well. Can't forget Kevin.
Yep, Eagles Uncut, and as you can see, you know they got the content. They got the content out there. Got the content covering the Eagles, the NFL, and they got the podcast. As a matter of fact, what's the name of the podcast again?
No, the podcast we don't do. We just do it like we just get together. You know, we don't have like a channel for the podcast. At least not yet.
Got it. Okay. No worries. But listen, make sure you go check out my man Eagles Uncut 2.0. He's building his channel from the ground up. Make sure you guys go lock in on that. Man, I appreciate the love, the support that you always give me. Goes a long way. Make sure you guys continue to stay locked in on the content. Eagles Uncut 2.0. Go like and comment on his content. Go subscribe. My friend, I appreciate you. You go take care, all right?
You too, man. Appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys, that was a good one. Today was a good day for call-ins, right? That was fun. I really did appreciate everybody that came in, everybody that showed a lot of love. It was real fun. I really can't wait for the season. I really can't wait. It's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so dope. And on top of that, I want to make sure you guys are laced properly. I want to make sure all of you guys understand that you too can be an owner of the official Apex Jalen Hurts oversized t-shirt. The Apex Predator. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to be the Apex Predators of the NFL this season. I'm telling you that right now. This isn't just some game. This isn't a fallacy. This isn't here. This isn't some sort of conjecture. This is real life. This is real rap facts. You feel what I'm saying? Make sure you guys go copy yourself an Apex Predator Jalen Hurts oversized t-shirt. Comes in 2 colorways. You can get it in black or you can get it in tan, otherwise known as eucalyptus. And as you can see, I got the black one on right now. The fabric feels great on the skin. The way the artwork blends into the fabric, blends into the cloth. Oh my God, man, it's legit. It's super quality. My brother was here over the weekend. And he said, "Yo, bro, that shirt really looks good, like really good." And I said, "Listen, man, I'm just trying to build this thing. Got a lot of family supporting me, got a lot of friends supporting me. A lot of you guys have supported me, man. And I'm just really grateful that you guys have been locked in on the content the way you guys have. So to make sure you guys continue to stay locked in, continue to build with me. I'm so grateful for the support. Goes a long way. So make sure you guys cop your Chalk It Up Sports official merchandise. The link is available in the live stream. You guys know how I give it up here. All right. So make sure you guys stay locked in. Goes a long way. And again, the shirt comes in 2 colorways. It comes in black, like I'm wearing right now. And it also comes in tan, otherwise known as eucalyptus. And then that's pretty much how we're doing it here, you guys. Fun show, fun calling, and I'm excited for the next show. I'm excited for tomorrow, man. We're going to have some more things to talk about. And your Philadelphia Eagles, get excited. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't let nobody make you feel like you weird for getting excited about the little things, okay? Progress is a process. And no matter how big or how small the step is, it's a step forward. And it's straight like that. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show. Make sure you guys are commenting and staying engaged. Make sure you're sharing the content. Please, please, please make sure you stay humble, stay healthy, and stay hungry. And I've been your humble and illustrious host, Tone DeShields II. You guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.